difference in today's society. In today's society, those two words are interchangeable. But historically speaking, a nun was cloistered. So your Carmelite sisters are officially nuns. And then the ones that are active and live and go out into the world are sisters, officially. But in Webster Dictionary, if you look it up today, it's the same thing.
Okay.
We've combined those two words.
I thought you were.
I'm a sister, but people call me a nun all the time.
Okay.
My friends love to say I joined the nunnery. So, anyway, I surprised them about as much as everybody else. So, there's never been a question, and this is another thing. I know I'm talking about Mary, but as people who are entering the church, you may have had questions your whole entire life about nuns that you've always wanted to ask, so I'm open to that. I'm a vocation director, so I talk to junior high and high school students all the time. There's probably no question out there that I haven't answered.
Do you have Netflix? No.
Do I have Netflix?
Do you borrow your friend's Netflix?
I do not, but I know people who do.
Do you go to Walmart?
I do. I like Kroger better though. Yes.
The attire that you're wearing, is this something that you wear all the time? Do you have to wear it?
Yes, our community this is part of our custom of life. Each community makes a decision about that. So if you were to go to Fort Smith, where they have Benedictines there, sisters, they do not all wear the habit. It is they have decided in their community that it's whatever you choose. You can wear lay clothes. I think they encourage people to wear a black skirt or like to try to stick to simple black colors, but I've seen them in wearing many different colors. So in their community, you can wear whatever you want. Our community does not, I don't even have any other clothes.
Do you sleep in that?
No, I mean, okay, I have pajamas. I don't have any clothes I can go out in the world in.
Are they gowns or pants?
I wear pants. I like sleeping pants from Walmart. And old t-shirts.
Just like us.
Comfy. And I have a really cute robe. Yes.
So with priests, there's always that outwardly side of the collar, right?
Yes.
So you know you're always amongst that presence.
Mhm.
Is that the same with sisters, nuns?
Well, and actually priests don't have it. It depends on where they live, but in our diocese, they don't have to wear their collar all the time. So when they go on vacation and stuff like that, they'll wear what I would call street clothes or lay people clothes or whatever you want to call them, I don't know. But we don't. I go on vacation and I'm still the bride of Christ in my wedding gown. That's what we really do. We look at this as our wedding gown. When you make final vows, you get a ring. We're diocesan, so that means we're under the bishop here in this diocese. Not all communities are that way. Some of them are just straight under Rome. And so they have a different system of, I guess you'd say I'm military, so the chain of command is a little different for them, but we go to the bishop, which is really easy. He's right down the road and I work for him. But he comes to all of our vows and receives our vows, and he gives us the ring as though the church was giving it to us, and we put it on just like a bride would. We wear a crown of flowers on our wedding day. But we make our dresses, so and they're blessed and they're special. And for us, if I were to go out without it on, it'd be like taking off my wedding ring.
So do you have to answer to the bishop?
I do.
Okay. So any of the sisters, like action-wise, they have to answer to the bishop?
We have a mother superior that we elect every 3 years.
Okay.
And we go to her first, and then if there's an issue, she goes to the bishop. That if we actually had a problem with her, we would tell her we're going to the bishop. But we have to tell her. Because first thing he would ask us, did you talk to your superior? Yes.
So you were saying that you get married.
Yes.
So,
Make a vow.
yes. So does that mean that the sisters are like the priests and that they're not allowed to be married
Right.
in person?
Right. We take a vow of celibacy, celibate chastity. Okay? A vow of poverty, chastity, obedience. And then in my community, we take a vow of stability. Those are the 3 vocabulary word, evangelical counsels. Don't ask me why. That's what we call it, poverty, chastity, and obedience, evangelical counsels. Almost every community, every sister, every brother takes those vows. Each community then can add a vow if they want to, and we have stability and reformation of life. So that means I will continually work deeply trying to reform myself with my community every day. It's a part of who I am and what I want to do. And I will be stable within that community for the rest of my life as a vow.
What happens if,
I think I'll go here and then I'll go there.
so what happens if you decide that you want to break the vow? Can you just do it?
You can't, because we're free human beings, just like any marriage. Should we? No. But as human beings, nobody can stop you. It's a free world. God wouldn't take away your free will. You always have it. You can always break any vow, any promise you've ever made. If you do, though, there is a process, very much like the annulment process, to be released back, and it actually has to go all the way to Rome for that to be done, for those promises to be, and those vows to be released. Back there.
So, 2 questions. First, I think this is like a simply yes or no. Is your vows that you take, is it a sacrament?
No.
Okay. So
It's a deepening of my baptismal promises.
Okay, so yeah, that was, I think a simple yes or no.
Mhm.
But you mentioned as far as like the extra vows of your community,
Mhm.
it's like, so I guess that gets into like different charisms. So if, say, you have a more traditional mindset or something like that, come from a, I guess, older, say Latin Mass community, is there something within the diocese that would be like that, or would it just be trying to find a
Our
vocation
diocese
through your...
our diocese does not have all the different flavors out there.
Okay.
Okay? So if you wanted to say, enter a community that prayed in the Latin prayers, used all Latin Mass and prayed the Liturgy of the Hours using Latin, there are communities that do that. And so you would have to just go out and try to find them. There's one in Kansas, I think, or Wichita. I don't know if it's in Missouri or Kansas. But anyway, there's a community of sisters. I know Benedictines that pray only using the Latin rite of the Mass. So many different ones. That I thought it was going to be easy once I decided to become an nun, and then I realized there's so many communities. How do I figure out where to go? Anyway, I think this and this. I don't know who was first, but go ahead.
So a while ago you mentioned that you elect a mother superior every 3 years. Would you tell what is the difference between a sister and then
Okay.
becoming mother superior?
So the Mother Superior is like, if we were an abbey, we would have an abbess. So they're the head of the community. They make all the rules. We are a dictatorship. And so it's just like a house. I mean, I'll be honest, it's like my parents. They were the head and we were the children, and you had to get permission or you couldn't go. It's just how it goes. And so our house is very much like that with our superior. We elect every 3 years, but she can serve 2 consecutive terms, and then she has to sit out for 3 years. That's pretty recent that we made that rule, but for a long time they could be elected for a long, long time, as many times as they wanted, 3 years at a time. But for us, the superior speaks for Christ, and our vows are actually taken by her through the bishop. So she assigns us to our mission. I was assigned to be the minister for religious for this diocese because the bishop talked to her, and then she told me that I was going to be the minister for religious for the Diocese of Little Rock, and I was moving to Little Rock. But there's so much freedom once you know that that's what God wants for you. I feel like it must be that way for married people, but since there's so much divorce, maybe they're not getting this part. But like when you know that God has given you somebody that you're supposed to listen to and that's supposed to be the one to help you find your way, there's freedom in that. Like, I don't have to worry. I don't know what to do with my life tomorrow. Mother, what would you like me to do tomorrow? Could you, paint this room? Sure. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much freedom. I don't get a paycheck that I do anything with. I put it into an account that goes to our community. I don't pay the bills. We have a sister who's in charge of that. Now, somebody pays the bills. I don't go. I take it out of poverty though, so I'm very careful with every single dime that I use because I have to get permission for my deodorant. I mean, we have a little piece of paper that says, please may I have, and there's the following, and there's lines. And you put deodorant, toothpaste, soap. And if you have an allergy, you can put what kind. If you don't, you don't. And you sign your name and you stick it in the drawer, mother's drawer. And then she signs her name and she gives it to the person who does the shopping. And then they show up on your door at your room.
That's nice.
It's awesome. I hate shopping. So when I moved here though, everything changed. And now I have to go to Kroger. And I have to do the shopping. Actually, Sister Gloria likes shopping, so she's a coupon clipper and she knows how to do things on her app. And I am so grateful. So she is like, I'm gonna go to the store. I'm like, I'm sending you a list. So.
So you might have just answered my question.
Okay.
But when I was in 5th grade, we had a Dominican sister come and talk to us about being a Dominican sister.
Uh-huh.
And it's like my favorite story because I remembered it all these years later. And she told us that one time she and some other sisters, they went out and they bought rollerblades. And they were rollerblading around the convent until Mother Superior took them away. And because they weren't supposed to have rollerblades. And so my question would be, are you allowed to have rollerblades?
I don't know. I've never asked that question. I don't want rollerblades. But I have a basketball.
Okay.
And a basketball hoop at home. I don't have one here. I have, when I need running shoes, I get them. I haven't used them in a long time. But anyway, we get what we need. If it would be beneficial, we don't have a space where we could rollerblade, except for in the house, and I guarantee you that would not be okay.
I don't think
They used to square dance. Sometimes when they had this huge group of young sisters, they one time, like when square dancing was really popular, they moved all the chairs out of the way and all the tables out of the dining room. Like it's a room this size, and they moved them and they square danced in the middle. Yes.
I have a really random question, but do you like the beach? Do you go to the beach in your?
I did.
You did? Did you swim?
I used to. I'm hot now. The beach is not my favorite place anymore. I will tell you this. When I go home with just my immediate family, I have permission to be around them in my pajamas and stuff. So like when I go be with my parents and my sisters and brothers, we have movie nights. And I will say, Mom and Dad, don't invite anybody over. And we're gonna hang out, and we'll have tickle fights and close all the blinds because I live in a very small town. So people just walk in the back door. So I'm always like, lock the back door, close the blinds, and we're gonna hang out. And occasionally we go camping out in the middle of nowhere, and then I'll wear my pajamas outside. T-shirt and pants. Yes.
So, up at the, I guess, monastery in
Mhm.
Pearl, y'all still have the peacocks?
We do. Yeah, we had 3 babies this year.
Oh,
Wow.
We actually have pheasants too.
pheasants?
Some pheasants,
I didn't see them.
Yeah, they're getting pretty.
I'm sure my wife once asked this, but I'll go ahead and say, can you have a dog?
We could, but we don't have one. We did have one when I entered, and it died.
You want
And
one?
no. We were white. Every time we went outside, it was like this. That way. The poor thing never. I mean, I don't know who. We had one sister that was like in charge of taking care of it, but it never learned not to jump. And it was terrible. And I loved that dog from outside the window. Hope you like it out there. And we have people with allergies. That's another thing. We can't have indoor pets because we have multiple people living in a house and allergies. Yes.
Would I be able to come visit where you
Yes. Just give us a call if you wanted to come and like go to mass with us or come pray with us. Get a little tour. We need to know in advance though because we do a lot of our sisters work and a lot of our sisters are retired. So we need to make sure there's somebody available to give the tour.
All right, so
So you teach junior high, high school?
Some of our sisters do. We don't actually have anybody teaching high school right now, but we do have junior high.
So what do you do in that?
I'm the minister for religious here at the diocese.
So how do you get paid?
The diocese pays my community in my name.
In your name?
Yeah. And it goes, it's the Leviton Benedictine Sisters, Sister Mary Claire. So they know that the check came from me, and it goes into the pot. And then we have sisters, we actually have a little group, a council. I'm on the council that we have hired like a person that does our finances and does like make sure we're investing our money for our retirement correctly and things like that. We have a person that helps us with that. Yes.
What happens when you retire from the sisterhood?
You can't.
Oh.
It's like retiring from marriage.
Okay.
It doesn't happen. But you retire from ministry. You can retire from active ministry. But actually, our first ministry is prayer. And so you can't retire, and like you can't ever retire from that. So I say they're retired as in they don't have a job per se, they're maybe in a